Welcome to a couple of adding and subtracting vectors questions. Step 1, what does a vector look at when we write it as a coordinate? So we have the x, we have the y. What does this mean in terms of a vector? Well, if this is our vector, it means you go along x amount and you go up y amount. And let us take that idea and do some adding with it. So if we are going to add together two vectors, we're going to add together a vector that is 1, 3, and we are going to add it to another vector which can be 2, 4. Okay? Some nice whole numbers for us to work with. I'm going to show you what this would look like if we drew out this vector. So we have the vector which is 1, 3. So that means it goes along 1 and it goes up 3. So this is our first vector. Then we are adding on to it the second vector. So it means top and tail, those little arrows. This one is going to go along 2 and it is going to go up 4. So go up a little bit further. And then you connect it together. Now the question is, how far along has it gone in total? Well, it's gone along 1 plus 2, 3. How far up has it gone in total? Well, it's gone 3 plus 4. So it's going to have gone 7 up in total. If we had to draw this out every time, it would get a bit exhausting. So what we do instead is we quite often just write it out in its numerical forms, like over here. And then we can just do it using basic adding and subtracting, depending on the question. So we have 1 plus 2 for our x parts, and we have 3 plus 4 for our base, for our y parts. And then we just simplify up like we do in maths. So we have 1 plus 2 gives you 3, and 3 plus 4 gives you 7. And that is you done the question. So you can see how closely adding vectors is related to the ideas behind vectors. Now let's have a wee look at subtraction, and we can just do this one without any additional diagrams, but the idea is very similar. How far have you gone? So if you have two vectors, so let's go 7 over 2, and we're going to subtract 3 over minus 1. Let's just put a negative in there for fun. What's the first step? Well, you create a new vector because you're combining them, and you write out what we sometimes call mathematical sentence. So if you read what happens to the x's, that is what we do on the top. So we have 7 take away 3 on the top. And on the bottom, we have 2 take away minus 1. So that is going to give us 2 take away minus 1. That is going to give us 4 over 2 take away minus 1. So that becomes an add over 3. And that is you successfully done a subtraction of one vector from the other. Now we've only looked at two vectors, but what if we had three vectors? What if we had 1, 2 plus 3, oh, don't want the fraction in there, 3 over 4, take away 7 over 2, okay? The question is, how do we deal with that? And the answer is the exact same way. You set up your new vector and you read along. So we've got 1 plus 3 take away 7. 2 plus 4 take away 2. And you simplify. So 1 plus 3 is 4, take away 7, we're going to have minus 3. 2 plus 4, 6, take away 2, we're left with 4. A third example. What about if we've got more than two things in our vector? So we could have 1 minus 2, 3, and 2 minus 2, 1. What do we do here? And it may surprise you to know we do the exact same thing. But we just have to remember we've got 3 different little sums we're going to be doing at the end. So we've got 1 plus 2, minus 2 plus minus 2, and 3 plus 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, minus 2 plus minus 2, so that's going to be taking away. We're going to end up with minus 4. 3 plus 1 gives you 4. Okay? So as you can see, we've done 3 examples there. They're all varying types of the same idea. And that idea is that what you're doing is collecting together all your x parts and collecting together all your y parts. And you deal with them separately while simplifying.